course, to become the first foreign nation to require this BrahMos, the world's fastest supersonic cruise missile, which was jointly developed between India and Russia. Now, of course, they themselves would be holding possession of these missiles. But countries outside of them that don't, Philippines stepping up here and being one of the first here to make this move. Now, with that said, we have to take into consideration the new hypersonic missiles. If this is set to be the fastest supersonic missile, what about the hypersonic missiles? Do they make these things just obsolete then? Is that why they're just selling them to the Philippines? Here, yeah, you can sell these old weapons. We've got the hypers. We don't need the supers. Ours go 10 times faster, can break into 100 different missiles and hit 100 different targets at 100 times the speed. So sure, you can have them. And Philippines, just buying them up, I'm sure they'll work against other countries that have less, but not against the big dogs out there, which would really be their biggest threat. Out here. So it's like countries like the Philippines get caught up, they're getting muscled between China and Russia and the United States on the other side. The United States having big drills out there. Philippines has big beef with China itself, but China not mentioned in this deal. They weren't part of the development here. This is between India and Russia. And if you don't know, India is on pace to become the world's most populated country, surpassing China here very soon. But it just goes to show that more and more countries are getting these missiles. I wanted to keep track of it, make mention. I'll leave a link. Make sure to follow me on Twitter for breaking news, and follow me on DLive for exclusive live streams and now videos that you're only going to find over there. Much love. Links below.
Okay, Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakah Kwadash. And double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And salutations to you Akim out there that push this word in truth and in sincerity. This is going to be a Great Millstone quick lesson. What you Akim that's watched was a video clip of Russia and India being joint creators of this BrahMos supersonic ICBM missile that's able to carry multiple warheads. Now, that goes back to Donald Trump, by the behest of the international bankers, pulling out of the INF treaty that was established in 1987 by Mikhail Gorbachev and Ronald Reagan, which was the height and what Ronald Reagan is recognized for quelling the Cold War, So Donald Trump, like I stated a few seconds ago, by the behest of the international bankers, pulled out of the INF Treaty, which is an acronym for International Nuclear Force Treaty. And now in other recent videos, you see the American government test firing banned nuclear weapons that they agreed upon that they will not, test fire. And so was Russia doing the same thing. And now they selling weapons to the Philippines. The same Philippine president that was putting to death drug dealers, that had the American government pissed off because what they was doing was burning opium fields out there and putting to death drug dealers. Burning marijuana fields out there in the Philippines. And they didn't want that, man. Why? Because the American government is the biggest drug dealers out there. But that's another story and another lesson. What we have here is the development of supersonic missiles that's being sold to the Philippines, a lesser nation. And that goes back to the prophecy that was written in Jeremiah, the 50th chapter, the 9th verse, on down to the 10th verse, that assembly of great nations. India is a part of that assembly of great nations that have nuclear capabilities. And you better believe they're going to shoot them missiles off on America, man. Right along with Russia, right along with China, right along with now the Philippines. They could be added into that mix. But they don't. But the scriptures doesn't mention the Philippines, but it does mention an assembly of great nations. So they very well could be a part of that assembly of great nations. I have a few precepts. Abba Ratazayu Akimatu will be edified. Because they're not talking about these nuclear missiles, these hypersonic and these supersonic missiles. But we talk about a supersonic missile here that has been sold. A supersonic cruise missile developed by Russia and India sold to the Philippines. They're not talking about that on the mainstream media. They feeding you the bullshit with this impeachment hearings and proceedings that they know damn well Donald Trump is not going to be taken out of office. And this is in vain because, in my opinion, he will be elected president for a second term. Because there's none of the Democrats out there that could beat him. Because they're all full of shit. Even Donald Trump is full of shit. But the international bankers, this is their game. So what they're doing is playing their game, letting you people believe that you have a say in this government in which you don't. This is Joel chapter 2, verse 1. Blow ye a trumpet in Zion. Zion is, that word means monument. Going back to Israel. And sound the alarm in my holy mountain. That's what we doing. We warning the people, our people. You Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans that are Israelites, man, from your prospective tribes, from Judah on down to Issachar. But only the 1/3, the governing body is going to listen, take heed, be converted and be healed and come back into the fold. The 2/3 is not, man. They too busy worrying about the worshiping of Tammuz, which is Christmas. These are the things that these people are preparing themselves for. They in the time of mirth. They're out there celebrating their birthdays. They're about to celebrate Christmas. And then right after Christmas, they're going to watch the ball drop in Times Square. So this is what these people agenda are. They're not worried about what's going on with India and Russia producing supersonic missiles and settling to the Philippines to be used on the American government. They're not worried about that, man. They're not worried about that sword that's coming through martial law, which they're going to declare is going to be a state of an emergency instead of calling it martial law. Ezekiel, the 21st chapter, the 9th verse on down. They're not talking about that, man. They're worried about being in the time of mirth, celebrating these pagan festivals and preparing themselves for their birthdays and committing adultery and being lesbians and homosexuals and transgenders and whatever else wicked desires they have in their mind, which is their heart, they fulfilling it. They're not worried about what's going on in the news. They only being fed mainstream bullshit that Channel 7, CNN, MSNBC, and any other mainstream news outlets that they listen to is feeding them. This is let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, it is near at hand. And we telling y'all that the day of the Lord, which is the war of Armageddon, the day that the Most High put the spirit on these nations, these different nations, to shoot missiles off on America and their counterparts, which are the Israelis, man, and destroy them off the face of the earth. We've been telling you these things, man, but you don't take heed. The day of the Lord is near at hand. Look what's going on. Uproars of the people, earthquakes, floods, wars, rumors of wars. We're in that time when Yahweh Shah is about to crack them skies, man. Whether you believe it or not, Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah is about to crack them skies. And the Most High, Yahweh, is about to put the spirit on these nations to shoot missiles off on America. Whether you believe it or not, that's your own affair. It says, verse 2, Joel chapter 2, verse 2, a day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness. Them clouds represent them nuclear missiles detonated and blocking out the sun. Also, them clouds represent them chariots when Yahweh Shah cracked them skies. So them see the clouds in this verse is twofold, because once the missiles are detonated, it's going to be a mushroom cloud that's going to block out the sun. It's going to make everything dark and gloomy. But guess what? At the same time, Yahweh Shah in them chariots, which is also called clouds, is going to crack them skies, bringing death, destruction, and deliverance, man. Death and destruction to you Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans. That's a part of the 2/3 Club. Death and destruction to Esau, the so-called white man, and death and destruction to the other nation that's in this land, man. You cannot escape the judgment that's coming, man. And we telling y'all, man, we are out there in the highways and the byways week in and week out, in season and out of season. And right now, we are out of season. Right now, we are out of season, man. Because it's cold out there. It's rainy. And we're going to go out there and push the road of the Most High. Do the grace of the Most High. It says, a day of darkness and of gloominess. Joel chapter 2, verse 2. A day of darkness and of gloominess. A day of clouds and thick darkness. As the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong, they have not been ever the like. Now that great people is representing, it's not an actual people, it's talking about nuclear missiles, man. Because it's going to be, that's the army of the Most High. So it's likened unto people, but it's not talking about people, man. It's talking about ICBM nuclear missiles, whether they're supersonic missiles, hypersonic missiles, conventional ICBM nuclear missiles with multiple warheads. Satan 1, Satan 2, which was created by the Russians, or any other nuclear missile in their names is going to be shot off due to that great assembly of nations that's going to be gathered together to come against America and to come up against their allies, which is them Israelis over there. Hey, we're approaching that time, and we've been telling y'all, man, now prophecies are coming to pass. It's about to be a persecution of the Israelites, do demonization, do the mainstream media, man. And we telling you this, everything is coming to a head now, man. The building up of these nations with their nuclear capabilities, their missiles, wars, rumors of wars. The economy is teetering. The infrastructure of America is crumbling. Everything is coming to a head, man. You have insurrections throughout the four corners of the earth, uproars of the people, come up against the government. These things are coming to pass, and we have been telling you these things through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah that's feeding us these prophecies, man. We telling y'all. But y'all don't want to have no part of it. You're going to suffer behind it too. It says, neither shall there be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. Because what's going to propel them nuclear missiles, man? Fire is what's behind them. And before them a flame burneth. We'll read it again. A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. Hey, that's that fire that's propelling them nuclear missiles, man. That's coming from one part of the continent to the other part, man. From the east to the west, from the west to the east, man. And we've been telling you these things. Man. Back in Joel chapter 2, verse 3. A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yeah, because you got certain parts of America, like Wyoming, Nebraska, Maine, that has beautiful trees, forests, vegetation, man. It's beautiful, man. Maine, Wyoming, Nebraska, Vermont, all these states that I'm naming is straight greenery, vegetation, animals, cows, whatever animal that's out there in them forests, man. It's beautiful, man. That's before. So the land is at the land of the Garden of Eden. Because certain parts of America is beautiful. If you are a person that traveled to certain states in America, you see that certain states in America is very beautiful, man. The grass, the greenery, the flowers, the trees. It's beautiful. That's before the nuclear missiles hit. But after these nuclear missiles hit, It says, a fire devoured before them. Joel chapter 2 verse 3. A fire devoured before them, and the flame. It's like a moving kind of fast. A fire devoured before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Because once these missiles hit, man, nothing that was beautiful is going to be perceived, man. Everything is going to be smoke, dust, and ashes, man. That's all you're going to see, a desolate wilderness, man. You're not going to know if this is Maine, New York City, California, Nebraska. You're not going to know where New Jersey began and where it ends. Why? Because it's going to be a desolate wilderness. Nothing shall be perceived in the land of America. Everything is going to be ashes. The biggest desert in the world, man. The biggest desert in the world. It says, and behind them a desolate wilderness, yea, and nothing shall escape them. That's right. Nothing shall escape these nuclear missiles, man. Because when they come, and they're going to burn up everything, man. Every element that's in America, whether they're human, infrastructure-wise, bridges, tunnels, everything going to be destroyed, man. Planes, military might, everything is going to be destroyed. Water's going to be, the oceans is going to be dried up. It's going to be a total desolate wilderness. Verse 4. Joel chapter 2 verse 4. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses. Horses represents power. It says, and as horsemen so shall they run. Like the noise of chariots on the top of mountains shall they leap. Like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. And that's like I said, that's not talk about a strong people. That's talk about over 200 million missiles, man, with the multiple warheads that's going to be shot off, man. From the north, whether it's like it from the west to the east, from the east to the west, man. Which is going to make this earth shake like a drunkard, which is spoken about in Isaiah the 24th chapter, the 19th verse on down. And we've been telling you these things, man. And now you're starting to see the prophecies come to pass. Uproars of the people, like I stated. Wars, rumors of wars. That assembly of great nations spoken about in Jeremiah, the 50th chapter, the 9th verse and the 10th verse, is speaking about. Because you see these nations coming together. Building supersonic missiles. Send them to different countries that they do business with. So the kingdom of Esau, or the age or the eon of Esau, the so-called white man, is coming to an abrupt end. Because he approaching them bounds in Job, the 14th chapter, the 5th verse, that he cannot pass. See, the Most High set bounds for him, and now he can't pass them bounds. So once he approached that bound, that's the end of his rulership, and he's going into hardcore slavery for 1,000 years. And after that 1,000-year period of hardcore slavery, he's going to be eviscerated. He's going to become extinct. Not my words. These are the words of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. This is Zephaniah chapter 1 verse 14. The great day of the Lord is near. It is near and hasteth greatly. Even the voice of the day of the Lord, the mighty man shall cry bitterly. I'm going to read it again from the top. Zephaniah chapter 1 verse 14. The great day of the Lord is near, which is thermonuclear destruction, the war of Armageddon, the war to end all wars. When that assembly of great nations come up against America and their counterparts and destroy it. Even America's own allies is going to come up against them, such as Great Britain, France, and Germany. They're going to come up against America and shoot missiles off on America to destroy this bitch. It says, the great day of the Lord, Zephaniah chapter 1 verse 14. The great day of the Lord is near, it is near, and hasteth greatly. Even the voice of the day of the Lord. Who is the voice of the day of the Who's the voice of the Lord, man? His prophets. We out there telling you what's going down, man. What's coming to pass. What's about to come to pass. We telling you there's a great persecution coming, man. And now you starting to see how the Israelites are being demonized. with this New Jersey shooting, which I believe is a total fraud, man. Because there's multiple videos out there where Esau tongue is falling upon himself because he mentioned in one video, we're not going to disclose the names of the victims and the actors. And now, if they was truly suspects, they would say, we're not going to disclose the name of the victims and we're not going to disclose the name of the suspects. They called them actors. Whereas the Most High had their tongue fall upon them. And there's multiple videos out there showing that this was nothing but a staged event just to come down on the men of the Lord, man. Which is also prophecy. That's that great persecution. We've been telling you that, man. We've been telling you there's going to be a war to end all wars, man. We've been telling you America's going to be destroyed by thermonuclear destruction. We've been telling you that Yahweh Shah is going to bring death, destruction, and deliverance, man. We've been telling you these things, man. But y'all do not want to hear. Y'all refuse to hear the words of the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shah, man. But the same shall know it after death by pain. The 2/3 you Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans are going to know what we was telling you was the truth, and that you're Israelites, but you're going to have to experience death and pain for you to understand who you truly are. You're going to come back by the men that make it. Straight and simple like that, man. It says, back in Zephaniah chapter 1 verse 14, the great day of the Lord is near, it is near, and hasteth greatly. Even the voice of the day of the Lord, the mighty men shall cry bitterly. To my Esau. Esau has mighty men in his army, and they're going to cry bitterly once they find out that Russia has launched hypersonic missiles over here, and is going to reach over here within a half an hour, 5 minutes, 15 minutes. So they're going to cry bitterly. They're going to be shaking in their boots like bitches, man. They're going to be shaking in their panties, man. Their asses are going to start bleeding like they got a menstrual cycle. That's how terrified they're going to be in that day. And the mighty men shall cry bitterly. Verse 15. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble. What wrath of who? The indignation of the Most High, righteous anger of the Most High. That day of wrath is coming. That's going to destroy this land, man. For all the wickedness, for all the bloodshed, man. The only way this land can be cleansed of the blood that has been shed is by the man who shed the blood, man. I believe that's Numbers 35 and 33. Esau shed much blood on this land, so the only way this land is going to be cleansed from all the blood, Esau's blood has to be shed, man. We've been telling you these things, y'all don't want to hear it, man. Now these prophecies are popping off, man. Now these prophecies are coming to pass left and right. Now what you scoffers and scorners are going to do. Let me just say this. If you have any Hebrew Israelite videos on your social media platform, guess what? You are affiliated. You are affiliated with the Hebrew Israelites. They're going to come after you, scoffing ass niggas, and you scorners as well, man. You're not going to escape the judgment of the Most High. That's going to be your judgment. Because Esau knows who listens to who and who watches who. Because he controls social media. That platform is controlled. It's monitored. So you scoffers and scorners, you're watching videos, putting up your comments, scoffing and scorning. You're not going to skip the judgments because now you are affiliates of the Hebrew Israelites. And that's how they're going to number you. And that's how they're going to categorize you. And you're going to be fucked up, man. So keep on scoffing and scorning and dig that. How you like them apples? Niggas, scoffers. Back in Zephaniah 1 and 15, it says, that day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness, because the missiles are going to come and they're going to waste everything. The Most High actually called the missiles, he created the waster to destroy. Isaiah, the 54th chapter, the 16th verse, and the 17th verse on down, man. He have created the waster to destroy, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, man. I'd explain it to you in Joel, the 2nd chapter. that gloominess and them clouds and that thick darkness, man. Zephaniah is repeating what Joel was speaking about, man. So bottom line, the days are coming. There's going to be a great persecution upon the Israelites, the men that fear the Lord. 2nd Ezra 16:68 on down to the 73rd chapter, man. 73rd verse, Slakia. That great persecution is coming. The war to end all wars is being set up, man. All these nations are getting their missiles together. They buying and developing missiles. Once Donald Trump, by the behest of the international bankers, pulled out of the INF Treaty, which is an acronym for the International Nuclear Force Treaty, these nations are going crazy building weapons, man. Death and destruction is coming, man. And we've been warning you. Death and destruction is coming. So with that, I'm going to close it out, man. And once again, I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakah Kwadash, and double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Hey, salutations you Akim out there that push this word in sincerity and truth, man. Stay strong, Akim, because we're approaching that time of persecution. Shalom.